Today I was asked the question, does the Bible teach an eye for an eye? I was talking with a friend who was struggling with one of his coworkers who was arguing that the Bible teaches an eye for an eye. And he was using this as a means of vengeance or retaliation to get back at someone who had hurt him. Well, let's set the record straight and get a proper understanding of this teaching. First of all, the Bible absolutely does teach an eye for an eye. This is taken out of Exodus chapter 21, and this is where God is giving the law to Israel. And the context is key. God is speaking to the judges who oversee the courts and administer justice in an official way over the governance of the land of Israel. So that's the context. That's who the law is being given to. And this is important because justice is a big deal to God. He wants justice to get it right. So an eye for an eye is taken out of this context where it's actually a whole litany of things. He says it's a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, a tooth for a tooth, a burn for a burn, a bruise for a bruise. It gives all of this stuff. And the point is that the punishment should fit the crime. The principle here is lex talionis, which means that the punishment for a crime should not go too far. It shouldn't be excessive, nor should it be too lenient. Otherwise, we're missing that sweet spot of justice. And that's what's being expressed in that teaching to the courts. So that was the purpose of the law. Now, interestingly, on the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus brings up this very topic. You have heard it said that an eye is given for an eye. And then he goes on to teach these different illustrations, but I say to you, if someone slaps you on the cheek, that you're turned the other cheek, or if someone takes your shirt, you're to give them your coat. He gives these illustrations, trying to unpack the intent of the law. Interestingly, the Pharisees had made the very same mistake as my friend's coworker had made. And they had taken the teaching of an eye for an eye, which was meant for judges to administer justice in the courts, and they had brought it into the realm of interpersonal relationships, which is a whole different topic. Anyone who belongs to the kingdom of God does not carry out and administer justice as though they were a judge over the courts of the land. That's not how this works. So Jesus was saying, as far as the citizens of the kingdom of God, they are to treat their enemies with mercy. They are to respond to evil with good. I think in Jesus' handling of the law, he's making the point that this eye for an eye teaching was meant to be restrictive. It was keeping the law from going too far and being abusive to someone or being too lenient and not administering justice. But it was not meant to be permissive to allow the people of God to seek retribution, retaliation, and revenge. That's what the Pharisees were teaching. That was their incorrect understanding of an eye for an eye. And that's also a common misconception among God's people today.